Hey there, Trooper, and welcome to this video of Wednesdays We Work. You think it's a silly name? Well, welcome to a pretty silly person and a silly channel. We have Wednesdays We Work, Friday Fun, Sunday Scare, Monday Memories. It's 90% gaming and 10% working towards different types of goals and dreams that we have in our life. So this video is linked together with the Enneagram test I did a couple of weeks ago. Some people are interested in actually seeing like me answering all of the questions to it. So I've edited the footage together, and then you can go to the other video and see the actual results of the complete test. I strive for perfection. I would say it's very accurate, but I do try a lot to, stop at some point, not become obsessive about it. I work hard to be helpful to others. I do know that I am not perfect in this area. And this is why I also feel like these tests are so hard, because it's like, yeah, I work hard towards it, but is it 100% accurate, like really to the right, or is it maybe not fully? Because if you start comparing to other people, maybe you're not actually working that hard towards perfection, and you're not working that hard to be helpful to others. I would say I do try to work as hard as I can. But sometimes I do, don't have the energy for it, and sometimes I do feel like I don't really know what to do, or I don't know what to say, or I don't maybe have the money to help sometimes, and I don't have the situation where I can really help sometimes. I don't know. But sometimes I am lazy, sometimes I don't really want to. Maybe put one down, I don't know. I strive for perfection. I do, and sometimes maybe I strive too much for it, but at the same time, maybe it's also like not 100%, because many times I do just be like, okay, I've learned nowadays to be like, okay, this is good. I will just stop here, stop. It is important to me that other people like me. Like in one way, of course, it can always be a little bit, sad and annoying or something when you maybe like someone and they don't really like you back, or they actually like really dislike you. So, I've never been in that situation where I like truly noticed that this person doesn't like me, but I wouldn't say it's important, but maybe it's also not like completely, like it's a little bit important. Like it is important to me to achieve great things. Yeah. If we're talking about like a feeling of me wanting to achieve great things, yes. Like I would really want this YouTube channel and everything to really take off and be able to then in the future utilize this platform to spread, good vibes, spread good words, spread good knowledge, try to really spread good things about mental health, and spread a lot of love and spread a lot of connection to people, then also be able to somehow connect with people in the future, and maybe on a more personal level somehow, like help people in different ways. Sometimes like YouTubers are helping people just by existing and doing YouTube videos, and that's really awesome. But I might also want in the future to somehow even connect like even deeper. I don't know. I do have very big dreams for the future, and therefore I will say that it's an important feeling. It's an important thing for me. I would really like to achieve good big things in the future. I'm very inspired by bigger YouTubers and other streamers and people, and then I have my own story and my own past that kind of connects everything together, where I want to help in these different areas in some different ways. But I don't still fully know how, but when you become a little bit more popular on the internet and you start to research more things, you might find companies and such that you can work with, and you can start doing connections. So the future is exciting. We will see what happens. I make more significant contributions than the average person. What exactly do they mean by that? Google. Than the average person. I make more significant contribution than the average person. That's a pretty difficult question. Like what is the average person? That's very hard to answer. I do feel like I do a lot of contributions. Then to say if they're actually really significant, I don't know. I tend to give a lot of money to a lot of charities and streamers doing charities. I would probably say neutral on that one, because I do a lot of contributions, but I also don't do, you know, super big contributions. I don't feel like it's that significant. I feel my emotions very deeply. Emotions. No, I'm more towards the logical brain of things. I can get overwhelmed sometimes, but if I really feel my emotions, no, I do tend to, you know, push them away a little bit. You know, you're not really connecting to them. So I would say it's quite inaccurate. I don't know if I can say it's probably not fully inaccurate, because I do sometimes, you know, connect a bit with my feelings, but it's towards the low end. I have a sense that other people never truly understand me. Yeah, because if you truly want to understand someone, you really have to listen. You really have to ask the questions. You really have to listen. You have to put a lot of effort into that person. So yeah, I would say it's quite accurate, because it is difficult to really understand someone. Then eventually, after a year, a couple of years, you start to get to know a person. So it takes years also to really get to know someone. I'll put an accurate on that. I think deeply about things. I do. I think about so many things, and I always go to, you know, different directions and different ways to look at it, and trying to, you know, never ever assume anything about anyone, and just know that there can be so many different, they're just so much. There's so much. I am prepared for any disaster. I do not understand what you're meaning. What disaster are we talking about? I am prepared for any disaster. Any disaster. Well, I do sometimes, you know, imagine a different type of disasters. What would I do? What happens? If this happens, what would I do? But for any, there can be a lot that happens. I would say neutral. I think about it a lot, but I'm probably not very prepared for a lot of them. It is important to me to avoid pain and suffering at all times. No, my whole life has been pain and suffering, and I have grown so much from it, and I keep pushing towards it because I feel it's very important. I've learned a lot about the brain and thinking and how to try and do things, so very not accurate. I seek out experiences that I know will make me feel happy or excited. Well, I would say maybe I don't. Yes, I do try to, you know, be a bit active about it. Maybe we'll not, maybe 110%. It does say experiences. I don't know if experiences means like going out into the world and traveling and doing like bigger things, or if experiences can just be, oh, I want to watch this movie now, or I want to go out to this restaurant and I want to eat food by myself, even if no one is with me. So maybe it's fully accurate actually. If I really want to do something, I will do it, even if I'm alone or whatever. I see the positive in every situation. That's also a bit of a actually every situation. I really do try. I do believe that some situations in the future sometime will be harder, but I've really worked hard towards, you know, being positive in whatever situation there is. But example, if one of my, you know, closer friends or family would die in the future, they will die in the future sometime. Will I be able then to still see like the positive things? I am not afraid to tell someone when I think they are wrong. That really depends on the situation, and I might not be the best at saying that, hey, you're wrong. I'm neutral, yeah. I let other people make the decisions. No, not always, no. People tend to make a lot of the decisions, and I feel like a lot of the people in my life do make good decisions, so I would say people do make a lot of the decisions in my life, but I also do maybe neutral. A lot of people do make the decisions, but I do make kind of the decisions with them. If it's a good decision, I will, you know, go with it. Maybe it's even up towards inaccurate. Second page. Ooh. I appreciate having rules that people are expected to follow. Yeah. Of course, we don't want it to become sheep of the society, but I do appreciate some rules. I actually think it's a good thing that we have rules and stuff, and sometimes rules are meant to be broken, but it all depends on the rules. I am concerned about security more than anything else. more than anything else. Neutral. It really depends on the situation. Like if we're in a car, yes, I will be very, careful with actually wearing the seatbelt and making sure that it's strapped on good, because if something happens, it can go really bad. And security is good in many situations, so yeah, I do go towards a lot of... But if I'm concerned about it more than anything else, no, not always, no. I think a lot about what will happen in the future. I do. I'm very curious and working hard towards different things in the future, but you never know. You never know what happens in the future. I don't fit in with ordinary people. What is ordinary people nowadays? Is like ordinary people the thing we call the bland people? The ones who are like, wanting to be like everyone else, and they're just like, we're all the same. Then in a sense, I don't know, I'm also very good at kind of fitting in with people. I'm like a sort of little bit like a chameleon, If I meet a person, I can be one way with them, and if I meet another person, I will, I analyze people, and then I kind of can usually fit in with that person in some way. I just find my way to be with different peoples. I don't fit in with ordinary people. Neutral. Because it really depends. In one way, I would say I don't fit in with ordinary people, but in another way, I can, blend in a little bit. There is rarely a good reason for changing how things are done. No. You can always do a lot of changing. You can always better something. You can always learn something new. You can always better yourself, change attitudes, learn positivity, do things differently. I'm gonna completely disagree with that. I always finish my chores. Depends on are we talking perfectionism here, or are we just talking kind of finished it, but maybe it's not 100%, maybe it's 95%, cleaning the floors or something, vacuuming, and then you forgot one dust bunny and you go whatever, it's fine. So I would say I finish my chores. If I have set up to do it, I will do it, but it might not be perfectionism. I'm always trying to be a better person. Yes, maybe not 100%. I don't know, but I tried as much as possible, so I would say it's very accurate. I check carefully for mistakes and errors. I do. Of course, again, not maybe to complete 110% perfectionism and all of that, but I do, when I do my YouTube videos, I do try to check through them an extra time or 2 times and be like, is this good? Could I add something more? Is the cuts good? Is it is the colors and things kind of good? What more can I learn from this video? And then I move on. I like to be around people who I can help. That really depends. That's also a little bit of a confusing question. I will say neutral, because it's if the person needs help, I will help. And so I don't dislike when people need help, but I also am not towards the end of, I always want people to want help or something like that. I enjoy it. I like to feel that I am an important person in my social groups. A little bit. I'm not gonna completely say that. Not maybe being super important or the center of the group, but I do like the feeling that people do appreciate me, that they feel like I am a good listener, I'm a good helper, that the words I'm saying are very helpful, and so being a little bit important, maybe being that person that people feel like they can rely on a little bit, that they feel like I like this person, I like talking to them, they're funny, they're a good listener. So it's not completely inaccurate, but a small feeling there, definitely. It is important to me to be successful. It is important to me to be successful. For my own sake, yes, I would like to be successful. I don't know if I would, become super sad and depressed in the future if I'm not. But overall, what is success? Overall, I feel like I've actually done a lot in my life. I have changed a lot as a person. I've become a very positive person. The whole night and day situation, I was this when I was young, and now I'm this. Night and day. I've changed a lot. I would say I've been very successful so far in my life. Is it very important? Not maybe 110%, but maybe neutral again, I don't know. It's not super important, but at the same time, I kind of want it. So maybe I want to be successful and I want to succeed in some way or another. I know that the future is very, you don't know what happens in the future, so it's hard to say. Plus the question is kind of, little bit in between. The organizations I belong to would not function well without me. Well, I am alone right now in my organization. Without me, no, it would not function, because if I'm not here, then no one is here. Maybe it's more of a mindset. Maybe if I think about old times, like other organizations, I would say that when I do belong to some kind of organization, I do think I am quite important, because when I am there, I do hard work and I contribute quite a lot. Like, I try to really work hard and be a good asset on the workplace where I am. But definitely they probably would be able to, you know, get someone else there and they would just work and everything would just work. So yeah, they would probably function well without me. I'm not that important. I often feel overtaken by my emotions. Yes, the emotions can be very strong, but often it depends on the situations, and in one way I guess the situations maybe hasn't happened that often. I have always felt different from other people. Like in my very, very close surrounding, it's very accurate, but nowadays, no, it's not 110%. I always felt like it's kind of past tense, but if I look at how it is nowadays I don't feel that different, but I do feel a little bit different from other people. It depends on the situation and what we're exactly talking about. I like to analyze things from every angle. Yes, I do a lot. I always have a plan for what I would do if things go wrong. That's again like what kind of analyzing things from every angle. What kind of plan and what kind of things are we talking about? Well, again, I guess we can go back to the whole fact that I do analyze situations from every angle and I do imagine situations that maybe could happen. So to say that I always have a plan, I try to, maybe we can say that I do try it a lot, so I try it as good as possible. I avoid situations that brings up negative feeling. No, I don't. I seek excitement. Excitement. Are we talking about like bungee jumping and that kind of extreme excitement, or are we talking about something else? Like, I am not completely closed off to it. I am not like completely like, nah, never, but I am also not super seeking it, no. Page 3. I am good at seeing the bright side of things when others complain. Definitely. I feel like a lot of people complain, even if it's just like simple complaining that everyone does from time to time. I personally feel like I'm always the one bringing up something positive in the situations. I do not hesitate to call people out when they are behaving badly. I'm not the best at calling people out when they... I'm probably quite bad at it. No, I'm very bad at it. I do not hesitate. I do hesitate a lot. God damn it. So, yep, I am hesitant to call people out when they behave badly. I wish I was more courageous when it comes to that. I go along with what other people want. That really depends on the situation. Neutral, because it depends on the situation. Sometimes I do not, and I will be like, no, I want to do this thing, or I want to do like this, or maybe we should think about everyone else, while someone else is just being like, I want to go here, and like maybe I will follow them, and maybe sometimes I will not. It really depends. It depends on the situation. I analyze it and then I see. People should follow the rules instead of doing what they feel like doing. Well, there's a reason why there's rules out there. So I would say accurate. There are probably some instances that, you know, a little bit like meh, that probably doesn't matter. Yeah, I will go there. I seek out relationships that offer me some type of protection. What do you mean? Protection. Like a man protecting me with his muscles, somebody protecting me with the money. And if I seek it out, no, I don't. But if I end up in a relationship that doesn't give me any type of protection or help or whatever, then that relationship will not work. I can clearly visualize what could happen in the future. No, you cannot. You cannot see the future. Visualize. I could, visualize. I could imagine. Like, yeah, I can visualize, but I cannot know. I can never know. And then we have this thing with analyzing again, and things could happen, and that and this and that could happen. I can visualize a lot, but then we come to the analyzing points, and it can be very complicated and just very difficult to know. Average people often find me a bit weird. I would say probably not. maybe a little bit weird. I don't know. Average people. That's hard to know. I've never heard it. I never heard people. Sometimes they have said something, but if it's like, do they feel that I'm a bit weird? Like, oh, she's a little bit weird, but you know, in a good way, or is it like weird in the like, well, she's a bit weird? I do read it with a bit of a negative tonation, so I would say no. Most people seem to like me in some ways or always, so depends. I like to do things as I've always done them. Not completely inaccurate, maybe. No, I change a lot. I will say inaccurate. I persist until a task is done. Yeah, that's pretty... well, it depends. It really depends on time. Do I have the energy, time, etc. I persist until a task is done. I try to as much as possible, and I might go over time, and I might push too much, and I might sit up to 1 o'clock in the night or 1:30 sometimes to really work through something. But many times I do not, and I, you know, end it and then I go to bed because it's very important to sleep. I spend time trying to discover and correct my faults and weaknesses. Yes, all the fucking time. I hold myself to very high standards. I would say yes. A lot of typical feelings of wanting to be very perfect and wanting to be very good at things, and not necessarily having trouble accepting that I'm not that perfect, but I do tend to, you know, push myself towards a higher type of... I am a natural caretaker. I would say no. Natural caretaker. No. My gut feeling is telling like, no, I'm not really like supernatural, but I do care a lot about people. But natural caretaker. Hard one. If I see someone cry, I will feel a little bit in between. I do feel many times that I should go help them, but I'm not like, I don't know, when it says natural caretaker, I do really feel like, yeah, am I really that natural caretaker? I do care a lot, but I also feel like many times like me. I would say it's a little bit inaccurate, since I do have that, it's like a lot of logical thinking, so I don't really go by natural. Like I do have empathy, I care a lot about people, but I also have a little bit of a cold side. So I'm not really like super natural caretaker. I don't feel like it, at least. I might be wrong. I'm not sure. I want people to admire me. Do you admire me? I want people to admire me. No, I don't really feel that. I will say depending on the situation, depending on what we're talking about. If it's just an overall admiration thing, well, a little bit maybe, just a little bit. Like, it's not 110% untrue. When it comes to maybe being good at games and such, it's nice when people are like, I admire you. I'm not gonna say like completely, no, don't ever admire me, don't ever admire me. If I go around all the time to like, oh, please admire me. No, I don't do that. I want to achieve a lot in my life. Well, we only have one life. It's quite nice to achieve. It's quite nice to achieve some things in life. And achievements can be like a lot of different things. When you get closer and closer to the end of your life, then maybe it's nice to be able to... I like thinking back in my life and being like, oh yeah, that was nice. And again, what are we exactly pointing at with the words achieve? Achievements can be like a lot of different things. Just buying a house, buying a cat, buying a dog, some kind of animals, just taking care. Like, achievements can be so many things. So yeah, I want to achieve a lot in my life. If I am honest, I feel that I'm a bit better than other people. Well, if I am honest, again, it really depends on what we're talking about. And it really depends on the situation and the conversation and so many things. But definitely, I do have a little bit of that kind of self-gloat sometimes. And when it comes to maybe knowing certain things and maybe handling different situations, and I can definitely be a little bit self-gloating and self-happy and be like, yeah. I wish there was like a tiny one here so I could push like just a little bit, just a tiny bit, but I have to push it. Yeah, so I do have that thing inside of me that I feel sometimes, but it really depends on what we're talking about. It really depends. I guess in a sense maybe it should be more towards neutral, because it's sometimes, but it's not always, and it depends on the situation. Depends on a lot of things, because I don't constantly feel like I'm better than other people. I feel a deep sense of grief for what I have lost. Deep sense of grief. I would say no. Again, it's one of those depends. Deep sense of grief. Yeah, I've been sad over some things that I've lost and some things that have changed in the past, but deep sense of grief, it sounds very deep. I am an unusual sort of person. Am I? If I was an unusual sort of person, wouldn't I be big on YouTube right now? People would be like, wow, check this one out. I don't know. I'm an unusual sort of person. No. Since I am pretty good at blending in a little bit here and there. Unusual, like, what does it mean? I am an unusual sort of person. Is it a way to see if like that the person that answers this are like, yeah, I'm special, or thinking of something like that? I don't know. I take time to understand things more deeply than most people do. I would say yes. If I have the time and energy and everything, I will really try to dig as deep as possible. It is important to me to be prepared for any emergency. Again with this emergency question. No, it's not completely unimportant, but depending on where I live and what emergency we're talking about, it's not completely unimportant. I guess it's quite inaccurate. Like, it's not that important to me, but I do think about it, but it's not that important. I distract myself from any sad feelings that arise. Distract myself. Like, in a way to completely ignore it? No. Well, if you're trying to like completely ignore it, like, no, I'm not gonna think about it. Not at all. No. Well, it's not completely inaccurate. Sometimes I maybe watch movies or YouTube and things like that to, you know, distract myself a little bit and to feel a little bit happier, or just be like, content in a situation where maybe I'm a bit sad. But I'm not completely, you know, feelings. I often make changes in my life when things get boring. I never really feel that my life is very boring. But yeah, definitely. If it does get boring somehow, or, you know, too monotone or something, I will probably search for something new that makes it a bit more fun again. I tend to be more optimistic than most people. It feels like that. I am also a lot of a realist, so a lot of people tend to or have said in the past at least that, oh, you're so negative, and I'm like, I'm just being realistic, so I don't know. I do feel like I'm very optimistic. I tell people what I think, even if it's hard to hear. Yeah, I do. Most of the time. But not all of the time, actually. I do have a little bit of that part in me where I can't really completely 110% say. But most of the time I do try. And it's not always, you know, positively reciprocated. I would rather follow the group than push for what I want. Yeah, I do that most of the time. Maybe I didn't really want something in a situation, but I do have it quite easy to be like, as long as we're having fun and we're a good group and we're good fun people and we just have a good time, I will be content with that, even if I maybe didn't get to do the thing I wanted. I feel most comfortable in organizations with a clear hierarchy. I can't even say that word. Hierarchy. Yeah, I would say so. Like, it's good to know which one do the job and who's the boss, and then you're like, you're the boss. I come to you with these questions, and you know, you're supposed to decide on these things and we can have a discussion about it. But of course I also want the boss to be a good boss. I take measures to protect myself and my loved ones from harm. What does it mean? I take measures to protect myself and my loved ones. I'm not really understanding this question. Well, it's so hard to know if things are going to happen, so I guess I'm not that kind of person. I might have interpreted this question wrong, but if I kind of understand it right, I will say that no, since we can't know what will happen, what harm are we talking about? Okay, let's take a situation where I would know that something might happen. Then I would take measurements to protect myself and my loved ones from harm. But maybe I don't do it to 110%. In one sense, I don't do it 110% or perfectly. I do try to do as much as possible. But at the same time, again, it's so hard to know, like, what harm is going to happen. Will it happen to us? Will it happen to me? You know, all those questions. I make plans for many years into the future. Well, I do dream a lot. I do have my, you know, goals, dreams. But if I really make, like, big plans, no. I make some plans, but not, like, completely. When they're talking about plans, are they talking about, like, dreams and goals? Or are they talking, like, really plans? This is going to happen in the future. I feel kind of neutral to it because I do have, like, dreams and goals, and then I make a bit of plans. But for many years into the future, maybe not that hardcore. I'm leaning towards a little bit inaccurate because it's like plans, and I don't really do plans. I'm an unusually unique person, yes. No, I don't know. I'm an unusually unique person. Well, if we're gonna talk in the sense of everyone is their own person, yeah. I am my own person, but unusually unique? No, probably not. We're gonna take a look at the whole world and all the people that are out there and different stories, etc. I don't think I am very unique. I just like trying new methods or procedures. I do not. I focus on my responsibilities and duties. Well, if we're talking about in a job and such, I'm pretty good at it, but I do lose focus sometimes. But I'm pretty good at, like, if I do have some responsibility and duties, I do most of it. But I can, of course, falter and lose my way a bit sometimes. I read books that help me be more productive or better at what I do. Well, if we can also look at books being the internet and such, learning to be more productive and better at what I do, yes, I read quite a lot of stuff. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do things right. Not that much, but a little bit of pressure, like I want things to be done quite correctly. I think it was worse when I was young, then I really pushed a lot with, like, doing things right. If I didn't do it right, it was really bad, and I was like, how could you? How could you not do it better? But if it's like that today, a little bit. I have posted some videos now on YouTube, and I felt like, was this really good? Yeah. Should I change the thumbnail a little bit? No, yeah. So it's a little bit of pressure, and if I'm trying, to leave that video behind, because you just have to do a video and then move on and not really, go back and forth with it too much, then I can feel a little bit reluctant to be like, ugh, was it really good? Did you do a good job? I take the initiative to help other people and make their lives easier. I think I want to do that more and more in the future, but this last couple of years and right now, and like how my life has looked so far, I do tend to focus a lot on myself and the things around me. But I guess if the situation arises, I would try to take a lot of initiative to help other people. And as I talk with YouTube, if YouTube would start to become something, I would start working more and more towards, being able to help other people, like again, giving money to charity. Money can help people in their lives, and if I have a lot of money, I can help people in different ways. And if I have the opportunities, I would probably try to do it. But I am a little bit bad at it, so I'm not gonna put super accurate. It's a thing that I'm definitely, trying to learn in my life, and also depends maybe a lot on the situations and the people. But learning to take the initiative is something that I need to do. I put in the effort to make a good impression on other people. I guess, yeah, a little bit. I try to put in a little bit of effort. I usually fail. Like, I'm a little bit, I don't know, I feel like I'm a little bit in between. That also really depends on the situation. I'm a little bit shy also when it comes to new people. But I do try and put in some effort, you know, to make a kind of good impression, but I can't really control it always. I can't know if they will like what I did. I set ambitious goals for myself. Yes, I would say so. Yeah. But again, if you compare yourself to other people, maybe my goals are like me. I don't know. I am an important member of my social groups. Self-evaluation. I am an important member of my social groups. Important member. Kind of important. People do tend to, you know, want to talk with me and get my advice sometimes. And important question mark. I think I'm kind of important, but I don't want to say it in a way that's, you know, I'm important. Love me. I can describe my emotions in a lot of depth and detail. No, I am really bad at describing my emotions. I often feel like an outsider. Not always, but it can happen. Nowadays, I would say very inaccurate. Nowadays, if I do meet new people and depending on situations, etc., I don't know, like if it would be a whole group of just strangers, then yeah, maybe, depending on the situation, I would maybe feel a little bit like me. But mostly I don't nowadays. I find my mind to be a very interesting place. Yeah, everything is happening in my brain. It's so many things, oh my god. I am always aware of what can go wrong in these situations. But how can you be? There's so many things that can happen. I'm always aware of what can go wrong in this situation. But depends on the situation. Do they mean like I think beforehand, like, oh, this might happen and this might happen? Then yeah, maybe. I think a lot about it, you know. I think a lot like, what could go wrong? If a situation is coming up, I might think about it a lot. Kind of that typical social awkwardness thing. But if I'm always, no, I don't think I'm always 110% like, oh, this can go wrong and this can go wrong. But I think about it a lot. Okay, where was I? I just went to take a sauna. I'm back again. I have many ways of avoiding situations that gets me down. Well, I'm not really trying to avoid them, so I would say that's inaccurate. But I guess in a sense also maybe I do have ways. Like, I don't know if I would call it like, is it conscious avoiding or is it unconscious avoiding? Because if it's conscious, then I would say it's inaccurate. I'm not trying always to, you know, avoid things. But maybe at the same time, if we're talking about like confrontation and stuff like that, then I probably have ways where I'm avoiding it, because then I don't have to confront and I can, you know, don't do it. But then if we're also talking unconscious, because I'm just looking at the word like avoiding situation, it sounds like it's very conscious, like this is a conscious choice. Because otherwise I would say that I do have a lot of ways like to keep me positive, to keep me happy. So I would say then that it's kind of true. I will go towards that it's true. I am always up for new adventure. I would say that's accurate. Of course it can really depend on the adventure, but I am mostly up for a new adventure. It's fun. And if my health and everything is with me, I will go for it. I believe that things usually work out for the best. So far in my life, pretty much everything has worked out for the best. So I do believe that a lot. I stand up for what I believe in, even if it upsets other people. I would say nowadays I do. Maybe not to 110%. Maybe I keep it like in sometimes, because we again have that thing with confronting, it's scary and all of that. But if I would have to stand up for things I believe in, I would like argue and have a discussion about it and really stand on the ground where I am. I let other people take the lead. That really depends on the situation. If it's needed or if I feel like I want to take the lead, I will try and take the lead. But if I'm in a situation where a person, are the one who just takes over the room, just takes over everything, they have that kind of energy and everything, then I might not fight about it. I might just let them do it, because it's annoying to try and, take the lead when someone else is just like, no, I'm gonna decide everything. So it really depends on the situation. I dislike people who disrupt things by breaking the rules. Dislike people, yeah, that really also depends. Depends on what rules they are breaking. Are we talking about the extreme kinds, or are we talking about smaller rules? Because if it's just small rules, then maybe I won't jump to, disliking someone. But if it's like bigger, extreme things, I might have a bit of trouble liking that person. I make alliances with people who can help me stay safe and secure. Kind of feels like one is using the people then, like, oh, you can give me safety or security in this and that kind of way, so I want to make an alliance with you. If it happens, it happens. If the person can give me, then it happens. I am often looking ahead towards what is coming next. I would say that's pretty true. Like, I also live quite a lot in the now, but I do work a lot forward. I have different interests than most people. All of my interests are quite similar to a lot of people, I would say. The traditional way of doing things is the best way. No, you can always change up and do new things. I am a responsible and reliable person. I would say yes. If people do ask me things and want stuff from me and etc., I will do it. Even if a little bit reluctant sometimes, or a little bit me, but I will do it. I have a lot of plans for how I can improve myself. Plans. Well, I do have a lot of thoughts on how I can improve myself. I make sure that even small details are correct. I can say that most of the time, yeah, I feel it's quite important, at least for me. But I've heard that maybe a lot of people will not notice the small details that you do here and there. Therefore, I've also learned to not always be nitpicky and fix everything. You can usually let go of a lot of things and people won't really take notice to it. But I do try to really make sure that a lot of details are correct, because if they do notice, then it will be usually even more epic. I enjoy caring for others and their needs. I enjoy helping others, but I don't enjoy it to 110%. I enjoy it a lot, but there are times when I'm, don't have the energy or don't really want to do it. But sometimes I will do it even though I don't have really the energy. But in the overall sense, I enjoy it. But there are moments when maybe it just doesn't work with someone. And it can also sometimes, depend on the situation. I might not enjoy it every single kind of thing. Like some things I have no experience in and I don't understand, then maybe it won't be as enjoyable. I want to be a person that others can look up to. Well, if we're talking in some senses of me being more of a grown-up, and we have a lot of younger people nowadays, and when it comes to mental health and other problems in life, yeah, in that sense, I would like for people to be able to look up to me and learn from some of my ways, and like maybe take inspiration, maybe not do exactly as I do, but you can look up to me and be like, hey, I really look up to this person, I can learn a lot from this person. So in that positive sense of, I wouldn't mind if people looked up to me if I was an actual, good person and sharing good things. So I will say, like, in some senses it's kind of towards accurate. But when it comes to maybe certain areas in my life, I don't know if I would say that, oh, look up to me in all areas, but looking up to me when it comes to learning things and maybe adapting different styles and Like in one sense, I guess I want to be a person that others can look up to. Like I want to be a good person that younger people or different people can look up to and be like, I want to learn from this. I want to also be able to do these things. I want to also. So yeah, I'm not gonna say 110%. No, actually, okay. I'm gonna say 110%. I'm gonna say like fully accurate. Because I don't see this as a negative thing. I see it as something that is actually, it can be a really positive thing. We all can find people that we really look up to. And I would like to be a person that others can look up to. Like we have the word can in here. I push myself to succeed. Yes, that is very accurate. I make important contributions to my community. I don't really have a community at the moment. What community are we talking about? I guess I have to imagine being in a community, and if I were and I started to get to know people and started to work a lot with different people, right now I'm not doing shit. Important contributions to my community. Can I say that with the people I live with now, the house I'm living in now, is that like the community right now? Then I would say I do, but I maybe could do a lot more, of course. There could be a lot more that I could do. So really depending on the community and everything, I would say I'm pretty much always here. Depending on the community, maybe I can also go towards doing even more, but it depends. I rarely have strong emotions. I would say that's pretty accurate. If I end up in some arguments or if I'm confronted about something and it become a heated discussion and everything, then I can have strong emotions. But it doesn't happen very often, so I will say it's pretty accurate. And if I did have a lot of fights very often, I would say probably learn more and more not to have too many emotions in the moments. Because that's one of my goals, not to have too many emotions when you're discussing things. I feel I never truly belong in social groups. That is inaccurate. That really also depends on the situation. I want to learn as much as I can about how the world works. In one sense, yes, but in another sense, it's also like I'm a little bit lazy on that side. I want to, but I also don't want to put as completely like 110% energy into all of that. But I guess they're saying as much as I can, so I guess it's accurate. I do want to learn as much as I can. It is important for me to understand what can go wrong in situations. Is it really important for me to understand? I would say it's quite important. I like to know what maybe I can do for precautions and what to think about and learn from situations so I can handle it better in the next situation. I don't know. I take steps to ensure I don't feel sad or lonely. What kind of steps are we talking about then? This is again, it sounds like I'm consciously taking steps to ensure I don't feel sad or lonely. I rarely do feel sad or lonely nowadays, so maybe I'm unconsciously taking all the steps, so that it doesn't happen. I don't know. Neutral. Trying new things keeps life interesting. Yeah, I will say that. Like if it's... I'm very interested in a lot of things. I've nowadays become a little bit more towards, trying to not try too many new things because it's hard to focus on one thing, but it does keep life interesting to test a little new things here and there. I am an upbeat person, maybe not 110%, but I would say that I'm quite towards the positive side, and depending on the person and depending on the situation, I try to take in positivity, give them positivity, So I would say I'm quite of an upbeat person, but not fully. I wouldn't say I'm like, the energy is really up here. I'm usually the one to take a stand when others won't. Ooh, again, one of those. I would say it's probably... I haven't been in so many of these situations, I feel. But depending, I'm going to guess I'm probably more towards, inaccurate. Maybe sometimes I will take a stand. Because when you also have others around you, it might be a little bit easier to dust up your... be a little bit more gutsy. Other people have stronger opinions than I do. Yeah, I would say that. My opinions are usually very gray area. I don't have very strong opinions in many situations. Everyone has a role to play in society and a duty to do their best. Everyone has a role to play in society and a duty to do their best. That feels very yes and no. It's also a little bit like, it depends on what you're looking at. Some people might have a little bit more of an important role in society or taking on a more important role in society. And then you would have a duty to do their best. But some people are really just like, living their life and just doing the best they can with what they can there. And it's definitely not everyone. And it's like, I'm not sure I fully 110% understand that question. But my gut feeling is saying like, I'm feeling very neutral because it depends on very, very many factors for me. I am concerned with protecting what I have. If we're talking things, I have been learning to let go of more things, and if things would, start to disappear, then I guess that is what would happen. I can get new things. If we're talking about money, maybe I would be a little bit more concerned with protecting the money that I have, because we need money in society to survive and everything, so it would be nice to, not lose all the money. If it comes to people in life, then I've learned a lot that people come and go, and a lot of people do stay in your life, and if you do keep in contact with them, you continue to have a friendship and you can continue to have fun and now and then. And if people would disappear out of life, it's like, okay. Like, I do work hard with my relationship. I do put a lot of effort into relationships, like the ones that I feel have clicked and like we really have something. I do put a lot of energy into the relationships, so I'm not really that concerned with people just disappearing. And if it would happen, then it did happen. I have a good sense of what my future holds. You knew. I am an average person with ordinary likes and dislikes. Maybe I'm a little bit in between there, I don't know. Ordinary likes and dislikes, what exactly are we talking about then? I guess it's kind of accurate. I do like pretty basic things. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of accurate. Like, I don't really know what is exactly ordinary likes and dislikes. I love games. There are a lot of people that love games. So I like sports. I like doing a little bit of workout. I like doing a little bit of, taking care of plants. I like a little bit. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of accurate. Let's say it's very accurate. I try new ways of doing things just to see if they will work. Yeah, I do that quite often. I do test new things, especially nowadays when I've been trying to, get up earlier in the morning and trying to test new habits and trying to, change a little bit of attitude and habits and all of that. I have a great deal of willpower. Yes. I've been doing things for years, so I would say yeah. Self-improvement is a major interest of mine. Yes, that is true. Get my results. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get the full report. 19-page. Ooh. So that was all of the questions. I thank you so very much for watching. There was a link throughout the video to the other part of the Enneagram test, and we also have a link now here in the ending screen here. Other than that, again, I thank you so very much for watching. Please press that thumbs up button for love and support. Have a great week, have a great day, and stay strong, trooper. Bye. Boop.